This is Dr. Herb Pugmire bringing you a tape on the New Age movement. The New Age movement is the fastest growing and most insidious religious cult on the face of the earth today. It is moving like a prairie fire in America. But actually, our society has been in the midst of a cult and an occult explosion for the last 25 years. It began with the drug movement and turned into a mystical trip, mainly oriented to Hindu and Buddhist beliefs and practices. At first, it seemed to be a political effort to protest the Vietnam War and other social injustices, but it became a spiritual movement through the influence of drugs and Eastern mysticism. Because the materialism of this world failed to give security from what may be a nuclear holocaust, thousands have turned to the realm of the spirit for answers. However, they have not turned to biblical spirituality, but to the occult, which is nothing more than the age-old lie and practice of Spiritism. Indeed, this movement is Satan's master plan to prepare humanity for the coming world religion of Antichrist with its one-world government. Ephesians 6, verse 12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Well, now, this movement, of course, is pushing for a one-world government. Revelation chapter 13, verses 7 and 8 give us these words, "And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world." In the book entitled Toward a World Religion for New Age by Lola Davis, we read, "A world religion for the New Age is needed to meet the needs of thinking people and to unify mankind." Now, claiming to represent a radical new global culture, the New Age religion denies the existence of a personal God who loves his own, while on the other hand it exalts human potential and scientific progress. The leaders of this movement claim that they are the forerunners of the New Age Messiah, a superhuman world teacher and leader who is soon to come. They claim he will establish a glorious kingdom of man on earth, in which all men will live in peace, harmony, and unity. Well, the New Age world religion is supported strongly by such persons as singer John Denver, astronaut Edgar Mitchell, former Notre Dame President Theodore Hesburgh, former Chancellor of West Germany Willy Brandt, science fiction writer Asimov, movie actress Shirley MacLaine, and TV star Sharon Gless. In fact, a complete constitution for the Federation of the Earth has been worked out by great legal minds, and it's in print already and being circulated throughout the world, just waiting for the day of ratification. The New Age leaders believe that their plan will be realized by the year 2000. They explain that the plan cannot be fully realized until the New Age Messiah, or Christ, comes. Well, some leaders of this movement are publishing full-page ads in the newspapers proclaiming that the Christ is now here They refer to him as Lord Maitreya, who is supposed to be a reincarnated Hindu avatar who is descended from heaven. Now, some claim he is, even at this very moment, in seclusion in the Pakistani section of London, England. Well, Daniel chapter 8, beginning at verse 23, gives us a prophecy on this. And in the latter time, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken. And then 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called of God, that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Well, the success of this whole program, of course, depends upon mind control, because Antichrist will certainly need to control the minds of the human race when he comes. Speaking of seduction, the prophets of the Bible give many warnings concerning seduction and deception in the last days. Friend, these warnings should be taken seriously. Remember how Satan seduced our first parents in the Garden of Eden? Demonic seduction may not always be visible, but it has always been present in secret societies and cults. I came across an amazing statement recorded in a New Age book. The book is entitled The Emergence of the Mystical, and I think this is an interesting, amazing statement. Now here's the statement. Today we are at the threshold of a new era. All signs point to this fact. We look toward a transformation into a new age using, however, the insight and wisdom of the ancient mystics. This new worldview is emerging because there has been a recent correlation between modern physics and the mysticism of Eastern religions. Now, do you know who wrote this? Henry Clausen, who is the sovereign Grand Master of all Freemasonry. Isn't that interesting? Now, while many biblical Christians are alarmed at the seduction of many Protestant denominations today, the Roman Catholic Church is having even a worse time. A man by the name of Jose Silva is the founder of the widely used Silva mind control system. And he himself is a Catholic. And some Catholic priests have invited demons by teaching this mind control system. A number of Catholic nuns and priests are devoted believers in Zen Buddhism, Tai Chi, and Hinduism. Well, why not? Catholicism is a cult. It's just a step to the occult. Very easy. A recent article in the Catholic magazine Accent displayed photos of nuns at a Zen Buddhist retreat. These nuns were shown bowing to each other to recognize the divinity in each other. Father B.D. Griffiths, a monk in the order of St. Benedict, has lived among the Hindus of India for the last 30 years. And his teachings are 100% Hindu and 100% New Age. And yet he remains officially recognized by the Catholic Church as a teacher of the gospel. Another Catholic priest, Father Matthew Fox, is quoted in the Yoga Journal. He said, "What we know about the universe is so amazing. There are 100 billion galaxies out there. No generation before ours has known this." And what does 99% of the religion of the West do? It tells people to think about their sins. And believe you me, people better be thinking about their sins. Well, now Jesus and his apostles predicted that just before his return to this earth, the world would be so deceived that the Antichrist and Satan would be worshipped. Well, today, our nation is seeing an explosion of mind control spiritism. And the popular craze is called channeling, whereby certain humans act as channels through whom spirit entities or demons speak. Now they believe that when this information is received and acted upon, it will advance the New Agers step by step until eventually they will become gods themselves. See, channeling is certainly nothing new. It's nothing more than the ancient art of trance mediumship, one of the oldest practices known to man. But it'll be noted that there's always been a demand for spirit mediums following wars. Because, many desire to contact their departed loved ones who have been killed in battle. But at the moment we're having this present outburst of channeling because there are so many listening ears, because our society is almost completely illiterate regarding the Bible. Occult philosophy says death is unreal. We are divine beings and can control reality with the power of the mind. Well, the Hollywood crowd have been running pell-mell after this fad of channeling and have been publicly identifying these spirit entities who send messages. Now, one of these entities, they claim his name is Bashar, and he's supposed to be an extraterrestrial being. Then there's Mafu, and he's a highly evolved being from the 7th dimension, they say, and he was last seen on Earth when he incarnated as a leper at Pompeii in the 1st century. Then there is Ramtha, and he's a 35,000-year-old ascended master, once a barbarian warrior king, later a Hindu god, and now he's beyond deity itself. And another outstanding one that they seem to get messages from, his name is Lazarus. And he's a disembodied personality with no incarnations. He's a being with no past lives in his portfolio. Now, friend, these are not characters from Star Trek. They're real demonic entities and have helped create a modern mass mania, the so-called channeling. As an illustration, when Sharon Gless, the TV star, won an Emmy for her role in the TV show Cagney and Lacey, she publicly announced that her success was due to Lazarus, who was channeled to her by Jacques Purcell, a California businessman. And then movie star Shirley MacLaine consults Ramtha, who's channeled by J.B. Knight, Washington State housewife, and she's a breeder of Arabian horses and so on. Well, she is the spiritual advisor now of Shirley MacLaine, And the two of them will stand on the beach at Malibu in California, and they fling their arms out to the cosmos, and then 3 times, as loud as they can, they shout, "I am God, I am God, I am God." But the movie stars are really just the tip of the iceberg. You see, each week, some 700 people pack into the Seattle auditorium, and mind you, they pay $400 apiece to hear Ramtha speak. Well, I told it up, that's $280,000 in the bank each weekend, which is a pretty good take. But we understand that these 700 people sit there in excited expectation, their pulses pounding, their eyes rapturously cast upon the stage, and then Ramtha comes forth, and he speaks marvelous words, exhorting the audience to know that each one of them is God, and that nothing they do is evil, because there is no good and evil in human nature. And he reveals to them that in the seed of Lucifer lies God and divineness. Some shout, some begin to jerk their bodies, some break out in uncontrolled laughter. One woman said, "Surely Ramtha is the voice of truth, speaking to the last days generation." Well, she may be right about the last days generation, but there's no truth will come from Satan, believe you me. Now in Los Angeles, this other spiritual entity by the name of Lazarus seems to be the popular one, and has hundreds of, well, actually thousands of people listening and following his so-called admonitions. He also has a 2-year waiting list for private consultations at $93 an hour. Or you can reach out and touch Lazarus by AT&T telephone at $53 a half hour, and then you bill it to your Visa or your MasterCard. Well, it's estimated that there are over 1,000 active channels practicing in the Los Angeles area alone. Now, you know, each channeling person is reaching perhaps hundreds or even thousands of people, so you can just multiply that and imagine the sweep that this thing is gaining in our nation. All right, what does the Word of God say about such actions? Let's look at Isaiah chapter 8, verses 19 and 20. "And when they shall say unto you, Seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep, and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God? For the living to the dead, to the law and the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them." The Apostle James, chapter 3, verse 5, "This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish." Indeed it is, friends. But this channeling business is intensifying, and it'll continue, because, you see, it caters to the modern state of mind and to fallen human nature. And because most humans are alienated from God in the first place, they need a substitute, you see, to fill the gap. Thus, this so-called emotional experience of the beyond does the job for them. It's amazing how even the atheistic and humanistic organizations who claim they despise religion are all plunging into the so-called New Age movement, which is actually nothing but a religion itself. And you know, they use such titles as the Conscious Revolution, the Human Potential Movement, but I think the cleverest of all is the so-called Holistic movement in which they apply the so-called spiritual now to science, to medicine, to psychology, to sociology, and even public education. But certainly they're not operating in a biblical sense. Instead, they have turned to the occult, spiritism. Well, already, positive thinking and transcendental meditation and visualizing are invading the corporate world as the latest scientific advances. And many large corporations, to try to keep their employees up on their toes and from burnout and so on, they're employing these very methods of transcendental meditation and teaching classes on it and positive thinking and so on. By the way, Norman Vincent Peale and Robert Schuller have been the two big promoters of the positive thinking gospel, haven't they? Exposure to millions of people on television. I don't know if they realize how effectively they're being used by Satan. Well, even the students of our public schools are having the New Age teachings forced upon them as science studies. Do you get that? In the Holt, Reinhardt, and Winston series of school books that are used in many of our schools across America, they portray religions such as Wicca, Hinduism, and Buddhism as very positive. And in a positive manner, they say these are excellent religions. But the only story they have in their books dealing with Christianity portrays Jesus as an illiterate and rebellious man. Can you imagine? Well, now you'll hear the word shamanism if you listen closely. This is in the New Age health field. The word shaman, well, this is a word that anthropologists have adopted universally for what we used to call witch doctors, medicine men, psychics, wizards, voodoo priests, and so forth. And the word actually comes from the Tungus tribe in Siberia, because that's what they have all down the ages called their medicine men or their witch doctors, shamans. Now, you see, the word has been adopted universally for two reasons. Number one, it doesn't freak you out, as they say. You don't say, well, let's go to the witch doctor. You just say, let's listen to the shaman. It doesn't seem to have the connotations of a witch doctor at work, and it's a nice-sounding term. And they're using this now in the medical field. Secondly, you can travel around the entire world and visit cultures that have been isolated for thousands of years by thousands of miles of oceans. And culturally, they are as different as day and night from each other, but when you investigate their witchcraft, it's identical everywhere on the face of the earth. It always has, and it always will be. Obviously, there's a common source of inspiration. So all witchcraft, has come from Satan to begin with. And his demonic servants are in operation. Now, this new fad of holistic medicine, so-called, is basically and simply just a revival of witchcraft in the Western world. But it's under the new terms, you see. They use the term visualization, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, positive expressions for health and healing, positive confession, positive thinking, and these all come out of witchcraft. Well, they've been practiced all around the world in every culture on the face of the earth, associated with shamanism. America has been deluged with health fads and diets, because even our government has promoted a campaign to make everyone aware of the need for good health, and there's nothing wrong with that. And as a result, thousands of health food stores have sprung up promoting drugless therapies and self-healing. And these might be beneficial to all of us. But you see, the New Age, the sort of the new consciousness, as they claim, they've slipped their metaphysical books onto the shelves in health food stores on the book racks, along with various diet books and vitamin books and so on. So in a very sneaky way, they're worming their way into the minds of people who would like to gain good health. Even on bulletin boards, you'll find announcements of acupuncture workshops. You'll find that right next to the listings of nutrition classes. The demonic New Age is just creeping in everywhere. And we as fundamental Bible-believing Christians must be alert to this situation. We must be aware of what's going on. The holistic health movement disciples are comprised of an odd assortment of practitioners whose techniques vary in degrees of credibility. They range from psychic healers and mystics to regular physicians and even scientists with impressive credentials. Their methodologies range from psychic surgery and acupuncture to more impressive sounding therapies as bioenergetics, biofeedback, hypnosis. And of course, hypnosis lately has been really coming to the forefront. Back in 1901, Emile Coué, a French pharmacist, began investigating the ancient art of hypnosis. And after years of study and experimentation, he perfected his system of what he called self-mastery. And he's credited with coining the phrase even autosuggestion. You've probably heard this phrase used a number of times. Well, he became a well-known lecturer and author on the subject of self-mastery through autosuggestion. Had he lived, he would have been amazed, I think, to see the American Medical Association officially adopt hypnosis as a tool of their profession. Hundreds of possibility-thinking seminars are being held today by both Christians and non-Christians, and supplying their students with self-hypnosis tapes. Would you believe it? All avenues of the New Age movement seem to lead to mind control. Well, you see, that will prepare the world to be mind controlled by Antichrist when he appears and takes over. The apostle said, "Let this mind be in you," but he's talking about the mind of Christ, not the mind of Antichrist. Spiritism accelerates the process of spiritual apostasy and decline of judgment. The prophets called it spiritual adultery. The New Testament writers claimed anyone practicing this is an enemy of Christ. Widespread spiritism represents the final stage of a long process of decay, which will send dear old USA down the tubes very quickly. Historians tell us that the mighty Roman Empire crumbled through the influence of a movement that is absolutely indistinguishable from the New Age movement. We need to listen to the words of Jesus as he warned the religious hierarchy of Israel. Matthew 16, verses 2 and 3, he answered and said unto them, "When it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times?" Christians must wake up to what's going on. You say, well, what can we as Christians even do about this tremendous thing that's going on? Well, number one, you can remain true to the Word of God. Number two, we can preach and teach it to others. And number three, we can win souls. And this is the only defense we have against such a sweeping movement leading up to the coming of Antichrist. But we can certainly go on the offense, can't we? Preaching the truth of God, winning souls wherever we have opportunity. I trust this study of the occult, of the New Age movement, which is a religion demonically inspired and controlled, I trust it's been of some help to you, maybe enlightened your mind and thinking on what's going on. May God bless you to take your stand for Jesus Christ today.